Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are y'all doing today? So today I wanted to switch it up and do something a little different. You guys have been asking me to do a Q&A on here for a while, and I finally got some good questions because a lot of times I would get requests for a Q&A, but I would ask y'all to leave questions, and like I would get one question and I'd be like, how you gonna ask me for a Q&A but not give me questions? So you guys came through and gave me a lot of really great questions. I pulled some questions from Instagram and some questions from YouTube. So today we're gonna do a get ready with me / Q&A because you guys also said you wanted me to try out this insanely viral foundation that just came out. This is the KVD Vegan Beauty Good Apple Foundation. And I'm praying that it works because the shade range was not what I expected. So I picked this up. A lot of you guys tagged me in this when it initially released before anything had like come out on TikTok or Instagram about it, because you guys know that I've been using KVD Beauty for years. And I have been following the rebranding of the brand heavily. So I have new KVD, I have new brushes, and bronzer, and a lip color from Colored Raine that I wanted to try on camera with you guys too. So I figured I would just pull a cute little look together. I'm thinking like matte cut crease. And we're just gonna sit down and like answer questions and talk about life and try out these new makeup products. So if you are interested in chit-chatting with me about all of the life stories and seeing how some of this new makeup works out, then just keep on watching. Again, I'm going to be trying out the KVD Vegan Beauty Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm. This has 0.35 ounces, which is not anything crazy for the type of product that it is. Products like this are rarely ever 1 ounce. It says it's infused with apple extract to help nourish skin. Recycle your compact. This entire compact is made out of recyclable plastic. There's no metal, nothing, no mirrors, so you can recycle the whole thing once you're finished. Just clean it out. And I got mine in the shade Tan 068. So I used their shade finder on there. I really didn't feel like spending $80 on foundation, so I only got one color. A lot of people are getting several shades, but so this is what it looks like. I swatched it on my chest and it actually looked pretty good, but we'll see. I may end up needing a different shade. I feel like the undertone is good, but I feel like the shade might just be slightly too deep. But that's really good because that leaves so many different shades after mine. Like, I'm so happy that we've gotten to the point in makeup where my shade is not like the third to the last shade, you know what I mean? Because I'm not that deep at all. Even though I find a lot of times my complexion looks very washed out on camera, but my skin is not that deep. And so the fact that a lot of times my foundation shade is like the third or second to last foundation shade in a range, like that's very concerning. So I really don't know what primer I want to use. I think I'm going to use my Tatcha Silk Canvas. This is gonna be a long one for you long video lovers. So the first question, let's see. How's the job hunting and 2021 goals, if that's not too personal? So the job hunting, honestly, once it came to like after lockdown and everything, I wouldn't say that I like gave up, but I kind of just like slowed down for a little bit because it just got to the point where it was like I was getting a lot of, I like you, but I can't hire you, or I like you, but I'm firing people. I'm not hiring anymore. And it was getting a little depressing and it was starting to kind of mess with my head. So I kind of slowed down for a little bit and really just started focusing on me. So it's really interesting though, because just, I would say in the last couple of weeks, I have been getting a lot of emails about jobs that I applied for in like 2019. So like the end of 2019. So I guess that says a lot as well. And especially now with my field, if you guys don't know, I do have a degree in environmental sustainability and biology. In my field, I've worked more so in, I've done science work, like I've done research as well as advocacy, working in, you know, political campaigns, and working in climate solutions campaigns. And a lot of that really kind of started to disintegrate, and a lot of people ran scared after, you know, Trump was elected. And so really just now with Biden being in office, even though I'm not a Biden stan, a lot of you guys know this, I'm not a politician stan in general. I have found that with him being in office, I'm seeing a lot more people being less afraid of putting those things out there and doing the work. Like I've noticed, like in the last 4 years, you really haven't seen people in my neighborhood canvassing for anything. And I'm seeing people coming out and canvassing for different environmental bills and acts and just different things. And it definitely makes me feel more hopeful as someone who has definitely felt their career choice take a hit because of politics, you know? So, and I knew that that was a possibility when I chose my degree. I knew that there were easier things for me to do. I knew that there were things that I could probably get a job easier with. But I guess I've never been the type of person to take the easy way out. So for me, like, I really am kind of reevaluating what I want to do career-wise. I'm not reevaluating my field, but I am reevaluating exactly what it is that I want to do. And just reassessing my goals. As far as 2021 goals go, that's kind of been slow too, but you guys know, like, life kind of came in and hit me at the beginning of the year, between being pushed off of my medication because of insurance and getting sick, and we still don't really know why. We kind of have a theory, but that's something that's a little difficult to prove without opening me up, and I'm not in the mental headspace to do a surgery right now. Between that and then the things that have been going on with my dad, we just had some upheaval in our family in general, and just kind of growing pains in 4 adults living in a house together, you know? So there's been a lot of different things going on in my personal life that have just kind of made me have to take my mind a little bit off of, like, my, you know, specific goals for the year. But I feel like they're still going well though. Like, there are different things that I have achieved during this year that I'm very proud of, and we're just getting started. But I'm also kind of proud of the way that me and my family have just kind of come through all the things that have been going on.
Hey, if love is blind, girl, body like Braille, let me read between the lines, girl. Down like loose change, let's try new things. Way you shake your body, give me new swings, running through my mind.
The next question was, what do you do for work? So right now I do work in retail. At the time when I started working retail, it was more of a situation of necessity, you know what I mean? Like, I needed to make money, but at the same time, I wasn't physically able to work the jobs that I wanted to work. And so retail it was, right? But now that I am kind of over the hump and following almost a year of, like, post-surgery and everything, being medically cleared and being off of the stronger medications that I was on. If you don't know, the person that asked this question, having, with the level of endometriosis that I had and the fact that a lot of people weren't helping me, everything had kind of gotten to the point where I was in so much pain that I had to be on pain medication full time. And when I say pain medication, I mean strong opioids. I went from hydroxycodone to oxycodone. And I was on oxy full time for almost a whole year. And the amount of time that it takes your body to detox on that is terrifying. And I'm very thankful that I was able to find a doctor that was willing to help me and get me out of that place. But it definitely set me back as far as finding a job in my field because I was so uncomfortable and I wasn't really clear in the head, you know what I mean? Like I was very foggy. There are parts of like my college career that I genuinely don't remember and it's terrifying sometimes. So that really put me back in terms of getting out of college and finding a career that really fit, you know, my lifestyle. And I very well could have left school and just gone straight into getting a job, but it would have been like at what cost, you know what I mean? And I just wasn't willing to do that to myself. And I had people around me that were like, you can't do that to yourself, you know? So right now I'm working retail. If you know where I work, cool, but it's not something that I'm gonna like say all the time. Not because I'm ashamed of my job. Like at the end of the day, 1,000,001 people work retail for whatever reason. I'm not ashamed of working retail, even though I don't 100% love my job. But it's more so because people are weird and people will pop up, and I'm not about that life. I will quit and never go back to my job if people just start running up on me at my job. But if you met me at work, hey! The next question is, what college did you attend and what was your major? I'm gonna go ahead and go into this foundation. I'm trying not to pick up too much. I just finished using this brush, so it's not, you know, it doesn't look super clean, but okay. I actually don't think that's a bad match. A lot of people have been piling this on, and that's not really what I want to do with this foundation because I feel like the texture goes a very long way, and I feel like you can get a very like nice full coverage but still natural finish if you're, yeah, like I like the coverage for sure. It's really nice. I think the color, yeah, that's workable. Oh yeah, this is pretty. This is really beautiful. Okay. So I attended Meredith College, which is a women's college that is located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And my major was environmental sustainability with a concentration in biology. I've been asked why I didn't get a full-on biology degree and why I didn't, or I didn't do a dual degree. And the reason is because, again, my endo. My junior year, I had to take a leave of absence so that I could actually get the surgeries that I needed done to diagnose my endometriosis. So endometriosis is something that you can't just diagnose from an ultrasound or like a CT scan or something like that. It's not something that you can see on regular imaging. And so it does require exploratory surgery to diagnose. And the only way that I would have been able to be treated with the proper medication was for me to have the surgery. And so I ended up taking a leave of absence in my junior year, which is something that I really didn't want to do, but I was miserable. And so when I came back, I found out that for me to continue to do my biology degree, I would have had to be in school for an extra 2 years and at $43,000 a year. Even though I had scholarships and grants and stuff, I just couldn't do it. So I have considered going elsewhere, like just doing NC State online and finishing my biology degree. I have definitely considered that. And it is something that I'm thinking about because I just personally kind of feel like it was something that I wanted so bad and something that I gave up. And it's something that I kind of still want. So I don't know. I may be finishing my biology degree and then moving on to grad school. I definitely would be able to go on to grad school without doing that. But it's just kind of something that I really, really want. So I don't know. We'll see. And then, are you using your degree in the job that you have now? No, sadly. But I am going to be pushing very hard to find a full-time job in my field. I've been able to find like part-time work, but I'm an adult with bills and I need more than part-time work, you know? So hopefully I will be able to find something full-time that really does fulfill what I want to do. But I also have a lot of decisions to make and a lot of like coming to Jesus that I need to have, because, you know, I was talking to my therapist about this, and, you know, she brought up a good point of how, you know, she was like, it sounds like you really didn't have the freedom to be a regular college student, in the sense that when you were getting ready to graduate, continuing your education or continuing in a career was not something that you were able to focus on at that moment. And that is 100% true. I did not have that freedom to worry about what I wanted to do next, because the only thing at that point was I'm miserable and I'm sick. And I have to find someone that will help me, you know? Me and my college advisor, we weren't really able, like, we talked about possibilities of where I wanted to go to school and what I wanted to do, but that wasn't the main conversation, because she was just trying to help me get through the day, you know? Like, it wasn't a normal advising situation, because I knew at the end of the day, I was not going to be able to move on and continue my education or move on into a job, because at that point, it was difficult for me to eat. Like, I couldn't go to the bathroom. Like, there were just so many things that I couldn't do. Like, I couldn't have sex. Like, I just, all the things that make up having a normal life, I didn't have. And there was no way that I was going to be able to move on and go on to a master's program or anything like that with what I was dealing with at the time. I don't even know how I made it through college, really. So when it comes to like using my degree in the job that I have now, I am definitely going to be working hard to get into that position, but I definitely need to sit down and have like a real reflective moment of what is it that I want to do, because right now I feel like I'm just throwing myself out there at anything that looks like it will fit, and that's not going to get me where I want to go, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I have to really feel passionate about something and excited about something for me to put my all into proving that I deserve that job, and I just really haven't found that, and I haven't seen that, and I don't think I'm going to find something in my field until I get that piece of myself together. And so that just, you know, it's just like personal accountability, you know, like, it's not something that I really realized I hadn't thought about, but now that I'm more of in a clear-headed space and I've really been able to take a second and look back, it's something that I really need to think about and something that I need to consider. This is a beautiful foundation, and y'all, like, I just did a few little taps in my brush, and I feel like if you're using this, like, if you pick this up and you're using it, do not just pile it on in that big stripe like you're seeing on TikTok. Really, like, take this, do gentle taps and then work it in lightly, like really feather it out with your brush. This will probably apply really beautifully with a fluffy brush too, and I think that you're going to really appreciate the application, especially if you're oily. You don't need to pile on a ton of this. It is a foundation balm. It's not a regular liquid foundation. Do you have a routine that you do to help with cramps during one's menstrual cycle? Yes. So for me, my cycle can be a little unpredictable. I really hope that after like being medicated and having a medication to help treat my endo that was more tailored to my needs and my body. If you don't know, I've been taking Oralisa. It's a newer medication. It's not birth control, and it does not stop your periods, which is important because I do still want to have children, Lord willing. And so that is very important to me, that I still have my periods. And the goal is, right now, we know I have endometriosis, so the goal is not to stop them. If you're being newly diagnosed, they're likely going to try to stop your periods as a means of diagnosing. So I'm already past that point. This is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer, by the way. Y'all see how much I've used of this? I love this concealer. It's so good. This and the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealers are my favorite right now. So even though I do have medication that works really, really well for my endometriosis, I do still struggle with cramps. And so if I feel it coming on, my first line of defense is food. Definitely be mindful about what you're eating. I try to limit how much caffeine I have, like, especially like now with doing YouTube part-time. I drink a lot of coffee when I'm at home. I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things where I just don't feel right if I don't have a cup in my hand. And so I try to limit my caffeine to no more than 1 cup a day. I also try to increase my water intake as much as possible. That is very important, staying hydrated, because I tend to get very dehydrated during my cycles. I think because I have a very heavy flow. So I also try to increase my water intake when it comes to that. I also increase the amount of greens that I'm eating. And the amount of healthy fats that I'm eating. So where, you know, a usual portion that I would eat during the week, I double it. And I add way more spinach and kale. I do better with spinach because I honestly just not down with the bitterness of kale. But I do eat kale. So I do try to adjust my diet if I can catch it. Sometimes it's very hard for me to catch my cycle. And it just pops up on me, like the last one that I had. It just popped on me like hardcore. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing today, you know? So it just depends on whether I can catch it or not. But I also like to drink raspberry leaf tea. So pretty much where I would be drinking coffee, I do 3 cups of raspberry leaf tea. And that helps a lot with the cramps. And so I do implement that as well. And that's something that I suggest doing, like on the very first day. Go ahead and start drinking your raspberry leaf tea. Of course, like make sure that it's good for you and all that good stuff. And then the best, the best thing for me that I found with my cramps is heat, is having a good heat regimen, and getting a really good heating pad. So I have like a heating pack that has cherry pits in it, and you put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and it gives you the most concentrated, like strongest heat possible. And I love that. I also have a new one that I got. I found it at Home Goods and it has flax seeds in it. So it's like the same concept as a hothead, you know, but for your aches and pains. And that really, really helps. I try really hard not to take pain medicine if I don't have to. Because of the severity of where my endometriosis is, a lot of times I have to. Like, I don't have a choice. But I try to hold it off for a few days if I can. And so those are the things that I tend to do. And I also love to do a really good bath session too. Just take a nice hot bath. Sometimes you just need that circulating heat across your whole body. Cause like for me, I'll get spasms, like I get back spasms, and it's hard to really like treat your back and your pelvic area all at the same time. So those are the things that I suggest doing for your menstrual cycle. Of course, everyone's cycle is different. Everyone has different levels of pain. My pain tends to be relatively severe, but it has been better now that it's being treated. So it's not usually as bad as what it used to be back in the day. So those are usually the tips that I do. Also, chamomile tea is really great too, and it helps to calm you. What made you start a YouTube channel? A lot of it was people in my life just telling me like, hey, like I still don't understand why you don't have a YouTube channel yet. Another part of it was just like that sense of community and just wanting to share and be surrounded by like-minded people. And so really when I started YouTube, I started off as a vlog channel. And those of you who have been with me since that vlog channel know. And it was documenting my endometriosis journey. I started that during the time when I was on my leave of absence. And I was just really frustrated with how my disease had really affected my life and my ability to enjoy the things that I had really set myself up for. Like I had set myself up to really be in this really amazing place, and I had done all these great things, but I wasn't really able to enjoy them. And so I really wanted to just bring more awareness to that. So when I started YouTube, I started off with a vlog channel. And while it definitely helped a lot of people, it was very small. It was a very small channel. It helped a lot of people, but eventually because of the way my treatment was going, it just got really depressing. And I had a lot more people asking me about my hair anyway. And so eventually I just decided to dissolve that channel and just do a hair and beauty channel. And so I developed the Third Eye Angel and started uploading hauls and hair videos and makeup videos. And that was kind of how this started. Do you have any hobbies that you love doing? Those of you that follow me on Instagram know that I'm definitely an avid reader, and I've shared some of my reading favorites here on the channel with you. I've been a bookworm like literally my whole life. When I was a kid, wherever I went, I had like at least 2 to 3 books in my hands, and I would just like sit at family functions and read. I was that kid. So reading is definitely my favorite hobby. I'm trying to get back into like the gym and stuff like that. So that's another thing that I did love to do at one point. Kind of got away from it, but it's definitely something that I want to start doing again. It's just kind of like more of like a fear, like kind of PTSD thing for me. And then I also love playing my violin. I haven't played in a while. I think more so because I like to play with an ensemble. Like that's my thing. Like I love being in an orchestra, and with COVID, it's just been really sad not being able to do that. So I definitely am going to get into doing community orchestra once, you know, COVID kind of finishes rearing its ugly head. I don't know why, but I feel like you enjoy plants and growing herbs. Do you have a green thumb? Yes, I actually, in college with my degree, I focused a lot on plant biology, and my advisor actually was a plant biologist. Rest in peace to her. I miss her so much. And my first research job was in agronomy. So I was in the lab, working in different greenhouses and working in different research fields as well. So I definitely do have a green thumb, but I don't have a lot of like, I don't show a lot of plants here because I have 4 pets who have no self-control. And so we have some plants in the house, but we really don't have a lot because especially Z, my oldest cat, you guys have seen her a little bit on the channel. She doesn't come in the room a lot because she gets mad that Ellie's here. Ellie has kind of made this room her room. But she will eat a plant, like, and she doesn't care if you tell her no. Like, she is going to be 17 years old this year. She don't give a fuck. If you tell her no, she gonna do it anyway. So we don't do a lot of planting in the house because, you know, but I have been trying to convince my parents to just go ahead and put up a fence. That way the dogs can just run around freely and we can go ahead and just put a garden out there because we do live in the country. If you live in Winston-Salem, we live in the Clemens area. So you guys know, like, it's very country out here. We got everything. We got foxes, we got deer, we have rabbits in the back. Like, we literally have had all these things simultaneously. We found some foxes last year. We've had deer running around. We get a lot of rabbits. And also we just have a lot of neighborhood cats. So there's a lot of wildlife out here. And so we definitely need to get a fence if that's what we want to do. But I told my mom, I was like, whenever you're ready to do that, I will help you get your garden on point. But whenever I move, definitely want to start my own garden. I've basically decided that when I move, like, I want to just go ahead and buy a small home, because if you live in Winston-Salem, you know that these apartments are trash. Like, haven't been renovated since like 1980 and you want $1,400 worth of rent and I can't bring my cat. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So me and my mom both said, like, the smartest thing for me to do would just be to, like, continue to get my credit up. I'm working on getting a new car and just kind of working on, like, making payments, finding a new job with better pay, and then just, you know, going from there and working on getting a small house. So honestly, I'm probably going to be here for a good minute because I don't see myself leaving until I can find a nice house or I find a job that pays me to relocate. Once I get a home, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of gardening. A lot of you guys ask like a lot of questions at once, so I'm just gonna go from the top. This is the post that I made on my community tab. Who is this? Blizzle Nizzle, is that your name? You asked like a ton of questions. I might not be able to answer all of these, we'll see. I have the Warrior 2 from Juvia's Place, which I haven't used that often. But I'm thinking about dipping into this shade. Is it Yodit? I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, so are you an early bird or a night owl? A night owl for sure. What's your zodiac sign and do you think it's accurate? So I am a Scorpio. I'm actually a Scorpio Libra cusp baby. So I am like literally the first day of Scorpio. And I don't remember my whole birth chart, but it's actually very interesting because I do have a Gemini moon. And I definitely think that it is accurate. It's actually scarily accurate, honestly. And I definitely feel like I do like inward exhibit a lot of traits of Gemini, and I think that's why a lot of times me and my dad butt heads. Even though I love my dad, we get along very well, but a lot of times we do butt heads, and I think it's because he is a Gemini. His sun sign is Gemini, and he is like full through and through Gemini. He and Prince actually share the same birthday. So he's like a straight up Gemini, and I am like straight up Scorpio, but I definitely have some Gemini tendencies. And also, fun fact, I've mostly dated Geminis. I don't know why I keep doing that to myself because Geminis are crazy. But hey, so yeah, I definitely feel like it's accurate, but I definitely feel like I do have some of that Libra in me too, which I think is why a lot of people say I'm not as much of an asshole as they expect when dealing with a Scorpio. And I think it's because I do have some of that Libra energy too, but Libras are also assholes. I'm just saying, they are. But I love them. I do love my Libras. Where do you want to travel? I have wanted to go to Iceland for the longest time. And I feel like once I kind of have my funds squared away, that's probably going to be one of the first trips I take. But the first place I want to go is Costa Rica. And a lot of that is because one, I had to miss out on actually going to Costa Rica in college, but my advisor from college, my mentor, she actually had a researching program in Costa Rica, and she literally was traveling to Costa Rica up until she died. She was literally out there with like brain tumors, just still out there researching, because she just loved the place so much, and she always made me want to go. And so I feel like once I feel comfortable traveling again, I'm definitely going to go to Costa Rica. That's where I want to go. I've also always wanted to go to Dubai. I really want to go to Morocco. I really want to check out South Africa too. I really want to go to Cape Town. But I also really just kind of want to do like a music tour through Europe, like hit up Italy and France and, you know, stuff like that, just with some of my music buddies, and we just like play. Most exotic food you've ever tried? I don't know. I feel like I don't really think of foods as exotic, but I grew up around a lot of Middle Eastern culture. And one of our family friends, who I pretty much think of them as like my aunt and uncle, they cook a lot of their dishes for us. And they have, it's Turkish, I believe it's Turkish coffee. And it's so good. It's not like regular coffee. It kind of has like this barky sensation to it. And it's so good. And whenever like I have like a new Middle Eastern friend and I ask them if they have that, they just look at me like, how do you know that? And I'm just like, listen, I grew up around some like Balm people, so I think that's like my favorite, and it's something that a lot of people don't know about, so I would consider that to be very exotic for that reason. But I've tried a lot of different fruits from a lot of different cultures, and as I travel, you know, probably more so like in my 30s, I will try more. What is my favorite season? Fall. I'm a fall baby. Fall is where I thrive. I love fall. But I also am one of those few people that love winter. There's just something about winter that really just gets me going. It's just, I don't know. Winter is just a vibe, but fall is my favorite season. What is your favorite color to wear? Ooh, this is hard. So, my actual like favorite color is purple, which I also love to wear that, but I feel like one of the colors that I look best in is actually like olive green tones. Whenever I wear anything that has like an olivey thing going on, I get a lot of compliments, so I would say olive green. What is your signature scent? I would still say that my signature scent is the original Giorgio Armani. See, it was the first like designer luxury item that I ever bought myself when I got my job, my research job. So that was the scent that I pretty much wore all throughout college. I'm pretty sure most people that know me from college and they think about me, they know like that smell immediately comes to mind because it was literally the only perfume that I wore. And even though I have been dipping my toes into more fragrances, I still think of that as my signature fragrance. Do you sing in the shower? Yes, I do. I mean, I can carry a tune because like I can literally use my own voice to tune my instrument, but I'm not like a singer. Like I wouldn't be able to sing anything that you would like. But I do sing in the shower. My brother sings in the shower more than me. But listen, let Usher's Confessions come on when I'm in the shower. Baby. Song you can always play on repeat. Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Listen, if that song doesn't make you like, if that song doesn't make you get it, I don't know what will. Return of the Mac is literally like that song. It is that song. So that's my ish. It's also like a song that me and my dad play a lot when we're like driving in the car together, just chilling. If I had to pick another one, I would say Candy by Cameo. Classic. Last thing you ordered on Amazon. Books. So now I'm gonna go into that Kufuru shade and deepen up the crease. I think I'm gonna take this colored Raine brush. This is their large blending brush, and I really like this brush. It's dense. It's very densely packed, and it deposits a lot of color, but also blends very well. I just finished using this for something else too, so. I literally like did a look and then took my makeup off and then came back and started doing another one. So that's what it looks like. So it has this really nice taper. It's very dense, not too fluffy. Best way to make a bad day better. My pets. Whenever I'm having a horrible day, they just make everything better. And especially like coming home from work, like Copper, my dachshund, he is always so excited to see me. And literally that makes my whole day so much better. So my pets. Would you rather go to the beach or the mountains? The mountains. I'm a hiking girl. I love to hike. I need to get more into that too. We can add that to hobbies. I love to hike too. If a genie granted you 3 wishes, what would be your first? My first would be to have just an hour to talk to my godmother. My godmother passed away when I was in college, and she had suffered from Alzheimer's for a long time. And a lot of that really took place when I was a kid, and you know, I didn't know. And if I could go back and just talk to her for like just an hour, just to tell her how much I loved her and how much I miss her, The last time I saw her, she was pretty much 100% gone. And the only thing she really said to me was she was kind of sitting there for a while and she was just really looking at me like she knew me, but she couldn't figure out how she knew me. And then it was like her face got really clear and she was like, hey, baby. And then her face went blank and that was it. So if I could have my first wish, it would be just to talk to her for 1 more hour. Best concert you've ever been to? Funny story. The best concert I've ever been to, I wasn't actually at. So, this was, was it my junior year? I think so, it was junior year of college. And Beyonce was performing in Raleigh. She was on her Formation tour. And you could hear literally everything from the school. A lot of people were mad because they were like, man, it's loud. But I was sitting in my room and I could hear all this noise. And I was like, oh my God, like, it's Beyonce. So me and my friends went, we bought a bunch of stacks and we have like this like breezeway in between the buildings. And we sat in that breezeway and listened to Beyonce. And like, you could see the lights. You could literally hear everything. And that is, to date, my favorite concert that I went to, even though I never really went to it, but that was my favorite. Because I was surrounded by my friends. And it was just like a moment. Like, it's one of those moments that you feel like you see in like corny movies, but it was real life. Sweet or savory flavors, both. I'm a sweet and salty gal. How do you learn to beat your face so well? Practice. I mean, like, I watched YouTube tutorials back in the day, but especially when it came to eye makeup, I really kind of had to teach myself because I feel like I have a very unique eye shape. And so I really had to go out of my way to teach myself how to do makeup when it came to stuff like that. And a lot of it just came with practice and over the time, like getting new tools and stuff like that. But I've always been into makeup and beauty and stuff like that. So it was kind of a natural progression of things. Like, I was always kind of like a girly girl, but also low-key a tomboy. So I was always kind of sticking my stuff in different things, but I always loved makeup and I was always playing around in makeup. And so it kind of just became a natural progression of like developing my skills, if that makes sense. And my mom never deterred me from like wearing makeup and trying new things, you know? What is your biggest pet peeve? Having to constantly repeat myself. I hate it. Like, I can't stand having to like repeat myself over and over and over again. I hate it. It drives me crazy, which is a really horrible pet peeve to have when you do YouTube because you're going to have to repeat yourself, whether you want to or not, because a lot of people don't really listen to what you say. And of course, especially when you're giving commentary on something, people really do like cherry pick what you say. But that is definitely like my biggest pet peeve is having to repeat myself. Any fears or phobias? I don't like spiders. Like, I can get with any other animal. I was chilling with snakes when I was a kid. Like, I could hold snakes, no problem. But spiders, there's just something about the little legs and like all them damn eyes. And some of them have the nerve to have hair and I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I don't like spiders. I also grew up with like really huge spiders around my house. And I think that also contributed to it. And I also had a spider bite get infected when I was a kid. So that just like freaks me out even more. Something that always makes you laugh. Ooh. I don't know. Like, I feel like I laugh all the time. Like, I have a good sense of humor, so I'm always laughing. And I'm always a very, I don't know, like a humorous person. Like, I'm always making my coworkers at work laugh. They think I am so silly. So, I don't know. But I know one thing that always makes me laugh is Copper, my dachshund. He is goofy as hell. Like, he has more personality than most people. And that little dog is hilarious. Like, he is hilarious. So I would definitely say him because he is something else. Netflix favorite series. Do you mean like a Netflix original or just something that's on Netflix? If we're talking something that's on Netflix, I'm always watching Grey's Anatomy. I've watched Grey's Anatomy so many times over. I can't even like explain. I'm one of those like Grey's Anatomy stans. Also, how did y'all feel about Mark and Lexi coming back? Like, that was so cute. And it made me very happy because I'm still not over 2012. Like, I'm still not over it. I'm still pissed at Shonda about that. I don't think any of us are over 2012. But, if I had to have like a favorite Netflix original series, right now it would be Bridgerton, for sure. And I know a lot of y'all are mad that Reggae Jean Page is not coming back. I kind of felt like that was gonna happen when they said that the second season was mainly going to be about Daphne's brother. So I'll probably watch it just to see what it's about, but I'm not excited about it now. Coffee or tea? Coffee, but I love tea too. What's your Starbucks order? I like to get a cinnamon dolce latte venti with a double shot of espresso. That's my favorite. Cinnamon dolce is like so underrated, but it is one of the best. What toppings do you like on your pizza? I am like a traditionalist through and through, but I also love Mellow Mushroom. Their tie-dye pizza, it has like chicken and Thai sweet chili sauce. There's like Thai basil on it, and just lots of different herbs and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite pizzas. If you had to choose an actress to play in a movie about your life, who would you choose? Even though it wouldn't make actual like sense because honestly, like, she's way too old to play me now. But it would be Gabrielle Union because I am always hearing that I look like Gabrielle Union, even though I don't really see it. I think it's just the cheeks. I really do. Even though, I don't know. I've gotten Gabrielle Union. I've gotten Laura Winslow. I also get Angela Bassett for some reason, which I think is also, again, just the cheekbones. But my mom, if y'all have seen my mom, she reminds me so much of Angela Bassett. Like, her bone structure. And my mom and dad's wedding picture, it literally looks like Angela Bassett and Ice Cube are, like, about to ride off in the sunset together. Like, my dad looks a lot like Ice Cube. A lot of people also say he looks like Suge Knight, and he actually kind of does. Like, now that he's older, he does kind of look like Suge Knight, which is not the best person to look like, but you know, he can't help his face. But yeah, I would say Gabrielle Union because I am always getting comparisons to her. And I actually really, really like her too. She's one of my favorite actresses. So, can't wait to see the next video. Thank you. What would be your top 5 perfume choices? This is hard. Giorgio Armani C for sure. Fève de Lessive, which has become another one of my signatures. I wore it all through the cooler months, and it is definitely one of my favorite fragrances and a fragrance that I get a lot of compliments on. Ooh, that one a little too high. Guerlain from Guerlain is definitely one that I am loving right now, and I think every woman can have in their arsenal. Oud Bouquet from Lancôme for sure. So that's what, 4. And Killian Princess. Yeah, those would be my top 5. Do you journal? Yes, I really just got into journaling this year, and I've really been enjoying it. It's really been helping me clear my head and kind of put a lot of my ideas and goals down on paper, but also like just continuing to be a more positive person, and doing things that are not driven in negativity, you know. Like I would never consider myself a negative person, but I feel like when you're surrounded by a lot of negativity, you tend to unfortunately carry a lot of that with you. And that's something that I don't want in my everyday life. And so a lot of times I kind of treat my journal like a burn book, and I take a lot of that negativity and I literally burn it. What self-care practices do you incorporate or find helpful? Bath sessions are everything for me. And if you don't have a tub, I suggest, I'm gonna go into this Juvia's Place Warrior palette, and I'm going to take the Ahose shade. But I suggest like just making your shower time as indulgent as possible on those days when you really need like you time, like you need to just really relax and recover and recuperate. You can still turn your shower time into you time and make it something that is relaxing. Reading a book and, you know, with a hot steaming cup of tea is definitely like 10 out of 10 big relaxation energy for sure. Yeah, those are like my main ones for just relaxing and, you know, self-care. Like just do a face mask, but also self-care can also just be simple things like doing something that you want for that day. Self-care doesn't have to always be something that is surrounded by like nights with wine and being in the tub and stuff like that. Self-care can be anything that you want it to be. It just has to be something that you really want and something that really puts you in a good mindset. So, you know, go on a hike, you know, stuff like that. But self-care is really like, it's about you and the things that you want to do and the things that make you happy. And that's what it's really about. Where would you like to be in the next 5 years as far as a career or job? I'm really not sure. I know that I want to continue to do YouTube. And right now I'm kind of evaluating where I want to be in the next few years. I definitely see myself going back to school. I am really considering going and finishing my biology degree because I really want it. And then going from there and deciding whether I want to get my master's. But I also feel like at some point I'm going to end up working for myself in some capacity. I don't see myself clocking in for the rest of my life and working for someone else. And if I am working for someone else, it's going to be in more of a personal capacity, like a business sense, as opposed to just clocking into a desk job all day, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I just know, like with some of the things that I've wanted to do, it's going to require me getting out of this cycle of clocking into a day job, if that makes sense. So I think it's, you know, kind of like as far as I can go with that. Like there's a lot of unknowns for me right now, but I'm going to figure it out and go from there. And you guys will kind of see that manifest, but I do also want to continue to get my bag on YouTube and continue to really just enjoy this space and enjoy sharing and just doing the things that I enjoy doing on this platform. It's nice to be able to have a place where I can be myself and share and be authentic, but also kind of turn it into a business, and that's nice too. So I will be continuing with YouTube. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. Why don't you do clothing hauls? Because it's just not my thing. Like, everyone has their thing. I'm not opposed to doing clothing hauls. It's just not something that I've ever really been that interested in. I don't really watch clothing hauls. And it's not really something that you guys have asked for. So, but I don't really buy a lot of clothes. Like, I work a job that is physically demanding. And so, like, I'll buy different tops and stuff for the sake of not coming on with the same outfit 5,000 times on YouTube. But I'm really not out here buying a lot of clothes, to be 100% honest. So I really wouldn't have much to show anyway. And the last question, what have you learned during the pandemic? I feel like God put us in pause for a reason. I love your videos. Thank you, Rachel. Is it Rachel or Rochelle? But what has God taught me during the pandemic? I feel like one thing that this pandemic has really taught me is to really stop and take a step back and look at myself and what I want and where I want to go. I'm totally using the wrong brush. I didn't mean to do that, but oh well. To really stop and take the time to reevaluate, and that it is okay to not be where I want to be and not do what I want to do. I think that a lot of times, especially like when you're coming out of college, coming out of a situation where you feel like, you know, you're supposed to be doing this, and this, and if you're not doing it, then you're kind of a failure. COVID really made me look at how ridiculous that is, you know? Like, COVID really made me sit and think, like, why am I being so hard on myself all of the time? Because I really don't have to, but I am, right? And it kind of made me think, like, I'm really being difficult and, like, being hard on myself for being in a place that so many people are, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing embarrassing about that. It's just a layer of life. And I have done so much in the short time that I have been on this earth. I have achieved things that people who are, you know, 3 times my age have never achieved. I have made a lot of accomplishments in my life, in my academic career, and in the times that I have been working in the spaces where I wanted to work. It can definitely make you feel apprehensive because you feel like, okay, like, what did I do wrong? You know, like, where did I go wrong? Where did I mess up? And a lot of times it's not you, you know, it's not you. It's not anything that you did. It's just how life is playing out. And I'm really beginning to accept that and understand that while I do have control over my life and where I want to be, that I, am also not required to demonize myself for where I am in my life, because at the end of the day, I made the choices that I had to make for myself. And those choices are the reason why I'm here and able to talk to you guys and have meaningful conversations and actually do good work on this platform. Because if I hadn't made the choices that I did make, I would be in a completely different space. Like I've said before, I would probably be addicted to drugs at this point after being on medications like that for so long. I would definitely have issues that probably would have taken me to a point of no return. And so I have to continue to be thankful for the choices that I made. I did what I had to do for myself. And people can judge and people can feel like, oh, you know, you're not at this level or you're not at this level. But the thing is, like, I have been where all these people have been. I'm just not there right now. And that's okay. And it's kind of like I've kind of come to this point of acceptance with where I am and really taking the time to figure out who I want to be now, because I'm a completely different person than I was then. My body is completely different, and now I have a mind that can fully function, and I'm not in survival mode all the time. And I need to really allow myself to enjoy the fact that I'm not in survival mode all the time, and enjoy the fact that my life is different, you know? And I'm starting to come to terms with that, and I am really starting to, like, grow into myself as a person. And I think all of that in itself and all of that understanding is going to allow me to go to where I want to go in the future. So yeah. We do still have quite a few questions, so we will definitely do a part 2, and I will leave it open for you guys to ask more questions if you want to. You can just leave them in the comments down below, and any questions that you have, I will add to part 2. So I'm just adding more depth to this look, going back and blending. I also really like this little blending brush because it's great for adding those deeper colors on the outside portion of the lid and really blending that out. And I'm also going to take a little bit of this, this Jamada color right here, and I'm going to add it right here, just for a tiny pop of warmth to the look.
You know you cold, girl, I can feel your temperature. Hit the dance floor, I could 1-2 step with you. Do the money dance for the times that I spent with you. Hit the tango, hand on your handle, I will be a vandal. You know I'll be good to you. I see mans try to step, but you truck the do say. it take for you to leave with me, oh baby? A couple drinks in both our systems, now we faded. The way I'm talking, I hope you don't think I'm crazy. Flex one time, baby, we can flex one time, baby, come on.
Flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect band. This could be the perfect dance. Come on, go ahead and just flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect band. This could be the perfect dance. Come on, go ahead and just flex on the beat.
Right next to me, baby.
Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect band. This could be the perfect dance.
And then I'm going to do some bronzing. So I have this colored Raine bronzer. It is so pretty. It is their new pressed bronzer. Mine is in the shade Cinnabae, and I think I'm going to go back and get Caramel Delight because the price on these was really good. Like, great price. It comes with a mirror. And I also got their brushes. So this came with the angled blush. I also purchased the angled powder. So I've been using the angled powder for this. And these brushes are so nice. They pack on a lot of color. But I just want y'all to see how beautiful this bronzer shade is. Like, y'all, this is gorgeous.
Somebody, not trying to just work the middle, check that just a little, for a little, flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like
I'm gonna go on with this blush shade. It's kind of like a blush and highlighter duo. And it is stunning.
around you, oh my baby, oh, nice idea. Be like, I wanna just rock your body, rock your body, rock your body. Be like, you might hurt somebody, hurt somebody, hurt somebody. Not trying to just work the middle, work the middle, work the middle. Just a little, for a little, flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect band. This could be the perfect dance. So come on, go ahead and just flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat.
Okay, I just went ahead and changed. Put on a cute little top. So let's go ahead and get into the lips. So I'm gonna go in with KVD Crucifix as my liner.
Baby, let me flex with you, then go caress with you. You know you cold, girl, I can feel your temperature. Hit the dance floor, I could 1-2 step with you. Do the money dance for all the times that I spent with you. Hit the tango, hand on your handle.
All right, and I'm filling in like halfway because I'm going in with a lip lacquer and I really want to be able to like mesh it in with my lips. Hopefully this will fit the look because I feel like the eyes really fit like this outfit. This is their lip lacquer in the shade, I think it's Anne. Yeah, Anne. And it's a really pretty like nudie color. That's what she looks like. Gorgeous, right? So I'm going to apply this in the center and blend it out, and it smells really good too.
When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect band. This could be the perfect dance. Come on, go ahead and just flex on the beat.
Hey guys, so this is the final look. I am just fluffing my hair out because it shrunk up a little bit overnight, but she's looking good. This is actually the wash and go that I did and that self-care Sunday where I was talking about that whole hubbub with black girl curls. So this is the Ancient Egyptian leave-in and gel, and it actually looks really, really good. But this is the finished look. Loving the makeup. This foundation is stunning. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous in person, and I absolutely love it, and I'm going to continue to use it. Like, I feel like this is one of my best, like, I wouldn't say best matches, but just as far as how my skin looks, it looks stunning. Definitely a close second to my Pat McGrath foundation, which is a big deal because the Pat McGrath foundation is like my #1 foundation right now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want a part 2, and I feel like this video is going to open up some more questions for you guys, so leave other questions down below so that we can have, you know, a nice little lengthy Q&A chat. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Flex on the beat. When it's high, we just turn up the heat. Bring your body here right next to me. You look like the perfect man. This could be the perfect dance.